This is the Frank and Friends Show. Hi, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
Welcome back, Kathryn.
Thank you. I'm still here.
Well,
thank goodness.
shocking in many ways. Because usually, you do a concert and it's like, I'm off. You're back to Baton Rouge.
Yes, I like to come in mysteriously and leave the same way.
Yet, when I tease you about the fact that you've moved to Baton Rouge and you visit Knoxville, you're like, no, I haven't.
I haven't. No, this is still, in terms of our taxes, our primary residence is in Knoxville.
Does Louisiana have state income tax? I don't think so.
I don't know. I have no idea.
No, my friend, the reason I ask is my friend Bean, when he moves places, he chooses states that have no state income tax on purpose. That's his list of states where he could live.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So now he's too hot in New Orleans, so he's looking for one. There's one up in New England somewhere, maybe New Hampshire, Vermont, I don't know.
Okay.
One of those where he can go live and not have income tax.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. I mean, like, if you were, I think if you lived or worked in New York, if you lived here but worked in New York would expect a little cut.
A little money.
A little something.
A little something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing that. I'm with Bean on this one.
We are delighted that you're here and delighted that you're subscribing on YouTube. Thank you very much for telling your friends about us and clicking that subscribe button. Much like the folks I met at the fancy wedding a couple of weeks ago. I'm talking to you, Alex, and I'm talking to you, John. Although both of them, I saw them do it on their phones right in front of me.
Nice.
I believe.
Yeah.
Well, John definitely hit subscribe, but I think Alex, at least he showed,
He
oh, look,
pretended
I
to.
found the page.
Yeah.
So, you.
Tell your friends.
Yeah. Because, this is all sorts of light extemporanea here on the program. And you can also get our merch at frankandfriendsshow.com/store.
That's right.
Whether it's the cups, whether it's the mugs, whether it's the long sleeve. I think we have a long sleeve t-shirt.
Long sleeve t-shirts,
Which I probably
shirts and hoodies.
Should have worn when I don't have many long sleeve t-shirts in my collection. Because,
You don't really need them here.
Except now I think I do. I need to buy some because of the fig tree, and I'll get to that
Oh, I can't wait to hear about the fig and
momentarily.
disaster.
Oh, it was a fig and disaster. Which means I'm already alienated my friend Bean, who hates the fig talk. He thinks we should have a spin-off podcast called Frank and Figs.
I mean, I don't disagree. So I think Frank and Figs would be great. So
I don't know enough about figs is the problem.
that's okay. You don't need to know anything about figs.
I watch actual fig YouTube channels, and I'm like, I'm just slack-jawed going, I can't keep up with these guys.
Okay, well, we'll come up with a different title. It's a Frank and Figs funny, escapades. I don't know.
Well, let's see. I guess we can maybe we'll dig into that because I'm trying to do gardening. That's my new exercise plan.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if I'm losing any weight, but I'm certainly sweating a lot.
And having a good time.
And I'm pleased with the results, I guess I should say, for the most part. And I asked my wife the other day, says if she thought maybe the reason I'm not losing pounds is because I'm gaining muscle. From yanking these roots out of the yard and just all the sweat and everything. But look at my beautiful marigold. Please notice.
It is beautiful.
25 cents.
25 cents?
I have now turned into the guy who goes straight to the clearance rack at Lowe's, and I found this thing of 6 little marigolds, and they were only 25 cents a plant.
Okay.
And this isn't even the whole plant. I just snipped this off just for the show.
Nice.
Because you should look out the window and see these sickly little marigolds that I bought for 25 cents each now are like, poof.
That's awesome.
I know, it's amazing. Apparently sunlight and water, plants grow.
Does the flower good.
But I believe that they're annuals, so all this work will go for naught because they will just die and be dead, and I'll have to just.
Do
start
they
over
come
again.
back the next year?
Annuals.
Or no?
This is so annoying to me that the word annual means they do not come back.
That's weird. That's the wrong word.
It means that they live for a year and then they go away, like the impatiens flowers. There's annual, but perennial, which to me both words sound like they come back.
Right.
Perennials come back every year.
Okay.
So I need to buy more perennials and not so much of these annuals. So that's what I'm trying to work out, trying to figure that out. I'm trying to convert this part of the yard that has always been just a mess of weeds. And I'm trying to convert it, it's hard, into fig trees and flowering plants.
Right.
So I can sit there in the pool and look at my daylilies and my marigolds And eventually my massive fig trees, which are right now just,
Nice.
barely anything. They're
And
just,
then you can just pick off the figs and eat them in the pool.
I'll have some, no, actually, how much do you charge? I'll have you come over and I'll
Feed them to you?
I'll float by. I'll float over to the edge of the pool and have you drop one.
Perfect. Yeah.
That'd be all right. You'd do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we can work out a fee for that.
Well, I don't even know if I'm going to get any figs ripe in time before it gets too cold.
You don't think so?
It's possible, but normally by this point in August, I would be out there. Last year, I was out there dripping in sweat, trying to pick figs.
Yeah.
I was out there during rainstorms. I was out there because we had so many. And then this past winter, there was a very hard freeze, and then we had the infestation of the whatever beetle, the ambrosia beetle, I think it's called. And then we had all these other problems. So I cut the trees back to basically nothing on the ground.
Right.
But they grow like weeds in this area, they do. So they sprout up. But the thing is that I hadn't counted on is these shoots, these new fig growths that are coming up, they don't have the established tree trunks, right? Because they're growing off of that, like the tree trunk is cut like this, and this fig sprout is going up. So every time it rains, they all go, the rain pushes them down and they're weak. Or we had a thunderstorm that was strong enough that the wind and the rain flopped them all down.
Yeah.
And I'm going and realizing that the ones that as I pick them up, they immediately break right off.
That's sad.
But the ones that died mostly had zero fruit on them for the most part. So, all right.
Wasn't a huge loss.
Not a huge loss, and probably in the long run for the health of the tree, we get out there, Frank Jr. had just arrived. He pulls in from Michigan. And I'm like, it's a fig emergency.
It's like,
It was a figging disaster is what it really was. And we start getting these wooden stakes, these bamboo stakes, and we're putting those in and we're zip tying branches to the stakes. And then he and my wife come up with this crazy plan. We're like, well, Dad, from an engineering perspective, if we take this and we do instead of doing the stake in the ground like you're doing, which is perfectly fine, but if we do some up here in the air and we connect it here and we do this and we do this. So if you look out there, I've got scaffolding in the fig tree.
Fig scaffolding.
So they've got all this thing where with the weight of this one will fight against the weight of this one, and the two of them will pull together.
Perfect.
Well, it seems to work. So we have all of that set up out there. And then I've got all of this, and I'm picking up all these dead fig branches. Now, I've been around the fig trees a long time. And maybe this is what caused it, but fig sap is an irritant. It's like this milky white, not elastic, what is the word I'm looking for?
Goo?
Yeah, but it's like, it's some kind of...
So like sticky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this weird, it looks like Elmer's glue, but it's an irritant to the skin. And the fig leaves are very rough and they're an irritant to the skin.
Yeah.
So I end up with my legs are on fire. They're just itching for a week after that. Well, meanwhile, I'm taking all these broken fig branches, and my next door neighbor has told me, I would like to have a fig tree. I'm like, okay. So all the ones down at the bottom that had a little bit of roots coming out, I'm slicing those, and we went and we buried, I told him I buried 6, but I think I probably buried 20 or 30.
Just in case.
Pieces of fig all over his property.
Oh my goodness.
Because I didn't want them to go to waste.
Right.
And they're not all going to live. Honestly,
right.
If I put 20 in the ground, if 5 live, that's pretty good.
Right.
Right? Good. So I put a bunch of them in there, and we'll see how many of them actually,
grow.
Survive. Yeah. So, then I'm picking up the rest of it, and so the sap is dripping, and it's, my legs are, I don't know if you can see it anymore, because I think some of the...
Oh yeah, you can.
Some of it's...
Yeah, like a little rash. Mm.
So it's been either that or I walked through poison ivy when I was getting rid of these things. Well, it's been bothering me. I couldn't get to sleep. And finally, the other night, it was Tuesday night after an Einstein Simplified show, I'm like, this is crazy. So I decided, I need Benadryl or something like that, right?
Yeah. I
don't think I have any Benadryl, but I remember in the back of my mind that on the generic Tylenol PM that I get from the, I don't even know what it's called, acetaminophen nighttime.
That's what it is, acetaminophen.
Yeah, but then also plus the nighttime medicine, which I think, I didn't check the label that closely, but I remember thinking that it was the same as Benadryl.
Okay.
So I've been known to take one occasionally, but that works a little bit, but I end up sleeping late in the morning, and it's not like, it doesn't knock me right out. I just sleep longer. But I read the label for the part where it said adult dosage 2 capsules. All right. I went ahead and took 2 at 11 p.m. I'm doing the crossword puzzle.
Oh my goodness.
Doing some other work, getting ready to go to bed, waiting for it to kick in.
Yep.
The legs, but then at least I'm not going to have itchy legs, right? Because I'll sleep through them.
Sure, right.
Yeah, when I woke up the next day at noon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, those will knock you out. That Tylenol PM is dangerous.
So I don't know what time I finally went to sleep, probably around 1 a.m., but
you're out, yes.
And it's been several days since that happened, and my legs still, I think, it's been about now 36 hours, maybe 38 hours since I took that pill.
Yeah.
My legs have not itched at all in that time period.
That's good.
So either that or I'm still asleep and this is all a dream.
That's probably more likely. It's all a dream. I'm not really here.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, after my figging disaster, I used to always, every time I lost a branch, I'd be like so torn up about it. So I would cut it up into these little 6-inch pieces and plant them all over the place. But I'm now getting to the point where my wife is starting to catch on because all these little, not from the figging disaster, but just other times along the year, I've got all these little baby fig trees that are popping up.
Right.
In places all over the yard. And she's like, you gotta stop. We don't have any more room. And in fact, I got the email from the Fig Frolic, and I told her last year I wasn't gonna go because I was so embarrassed.
But are you gonna go?
I don't know. See, last year I got I got 3 new varieties of figs out of that trip.
I know, they were really nice, right?
Well, they will be eventually. They're all alive. I got them out in the yard, but they're too tiny to do anything yet.
But they survived, so that's good.
Yeah, it'll take a few years for them to be big enough to have a fruit on them. I don't know. And my wife's like, you're nuts, you're crazy. I said, well, I could take the Violet de Bordeaux / Negron. It looks healthy enough that I could probably cut some of the branches of that off and start more of those.
There you go. Or you could take those back with you to the Fig Frolic. The Fig Frolic? It's really hard to say.
The friggin' frolic.
It's really difficult.
This is Kathryn before her Sazerac.
That's right.
You should see her after.
I'd make more sense then.
You do.
Yeah.
So I was looking forward to it. I thought, well, while Frank Jr.'s here and while the boys, the grandkids were here, I thought I could put them to work as fig farmers, but I haven't harvested.
You hadn't had a chance.
I have 1 fig. We got one fig off the Negron, and I cut it up 4 ways and split it with Lucy and Charlie and Jerry and me. But
it's pretty sad.
I put them to work across the way picking apples.
Okay.
The neighbor across the street has an apple tree, and he put in a new swimming pool. And it turns out he's a chemical engineer, genius at Oak Ridge, right?
Nice.
So he asked me if I'll clean his pool for a few days while he goes to visit his in-laws. They go to visit the family, parents and in-laws. And I said, sure, of course. Do I need to do anything chemical-wise? Like, no, I think I've got to figure it out, but I'll text you on Thursday and you'll put in this bottle and blah, blah, blah. And he starts talking about, when you put in the bleach, basically, which is what the chlorine is.
Right.
But then he mixes it with the muriatic acid to get the perfect pH balance, and he does the test strips. And I'm laughing, I'm smiling. I don't want to tell him this, but I basically, know that I taste my pool, not on purpose, but it's like
you do a taste test.
I could just tell, I'm like, I could use a little chlorine. Or I look at it, I don't know.
Like, you could just intuitively know.
I just intuitively know that I probably should put in some algicide. I think probably some chlorine. Look at it though; it's beautiful.
It is.
My wife says to me, "Thank you." She's floating. She rarely floats to the pool, but she's out there the other day. She says, "I never tell you this, but thank you for keeping the pool nice."
That's nice.
Because
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but I do it for me.
Right.
And so she also gets to enjoy it. None of my friends ever come over to use the pool. I've offered to everyone, and so everyone who comes in to do a podcast is invited. If you've been on the podcast, you're invited to use the pool sometime. But everyone's got to go. Everyone's got busy schedules.
What is it with people working, doing things?
So
Having jobs.
I kept an eye on the guy's pool, but he also said, hey, I've got too many apples. Maybe you want to pick a few. So, and this was strenuous labor. I've got Timmy on my shoulders for a few minutes, and he's up there picking apples because the guy had left us one of those old people's grabbers.
Okay.
Like for reaching things on upper shelves.
Yeah.
And then I put Artie, who's even older, and got him up there, and I'm like, and holding on to him, and he's picking apples,
Nice.
trying to get the good ones.
Nice.
Well, they get picked so many
Right.
that when Megan, my daughter, showed up to take them, stay for 2 days, use the pool, and then take them all home, she whipped up a batch of applesauce.
Nice.
And she said, oh yeah, when Artie was a baby, I used to do homemade applesauce, no sugar added, all natural. But as soon as the next ones came along, I was done.
Yeah. I was like, that's too much.
So she hadn't made this in a while, but it was very good. If you'd like some, I've got some. I can give you some.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Because then she wanted to know how to can it, because my wife has done. And why do they call it canning? You're just jarring.
You're putting it in a jar.
It's jarring.
Right?
It's not canning. But so they preserved a bunch of it.
Nice.
And then some of it they decided to make into apple butter.
Okay.
And all they did was add brown sugar and boil off more of the liquid. And because that was taking a long time, Megan said, oh, I got this other method. She put it in the oven. And they put it in the oven on low and just let it cook for hours. Oh, it smelled so good.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
And-
you're still smelling, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Every time I come downstairs, I keep smelling something that reminds me of something we cooked while they were here,
That's probably that apple butter.
which is also delicious. I'll give you some of that if you're interested.
Lofting into the air. Yeah.
Did you ever eat the fig jam I gave you?
I did. Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just occurred to me, I learned that the fig jam that we used to make, the old recipe, is not vegan because it's got Jell-O in it.
That's okay.
I mean, you'll snarf down a brisket at the Buc-ee's. I mean, you and I
okay for me.
we're together on that. But I didn't, I thought, oh. But there's other recipes that I'm going to try where you don't have to put as much sugar in it, because I mean, there's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, I'm
in
sure.
fig jam.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need it, I don't think. So I'm going to try to make some, if I get new figs this year, going to try to make some without sugar and see how
it lasts.
how it tastes.
Yeah.
know.
You can always add sugar on the
Yeah,
other side of it. Yeah.
Sure. So anyway, I'm
good.
excited about that. We made applesauce, we made apple butter while Megan was here.
That's awesome.
And we were trying to juggle that because we also were trying to go out the door to go do some exciting adventure.
Where did you go?
Yeah, I can't even remember.
Did you go? You went someplace in Dollywood. Big Bear Mountain?
We did go. Well, I took the boys. Megan didn't want to go to Dollywood, so I took the two boys. Jerry and I did. And I'll tell you about that after I tell you about bonezones.com. Don't forget the S, including the new tome from Ron Ledbetter, who just had an appearance at the library in Strawberry Plains. And if you look up Bone Zones on Facebook, you can find out more about that. Or go to bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. And you'll see all his exciting adventures as he travels all over the world. Here's one that mentions the Olympic Sports Training Center. This will be my new game. You open up to a random page of Ron Ledbetter's book, Rongfu Monastery, a Tibetan Buddhist religious center.
That's pretty fun.
I know, this is good stuff, right? The Royal Palace and the Emerald Buddha, the TK Palace, the Hanoi's Noi Bai Airport. So anyway, he's traveled all over Asia, all over the world, and you can learn about that in this book called A Stunning World of Faith, Family, and Friendship and the Unforeseeable by Ron Ledbetter. Or you can get the Dr. Bass merch, including what started it all, the book Death's Acre, and the fiction book Carved in Bone. That's the first fiction and the first nonfiction book in the series. I also recommend, and he'll sign those for you. His birthday's coming up on August 30th. He turns 95. So they'll go over. I'll probably drop by his house with a little
See him,
card or a
give him
cake
a
or
little
something.
That'd be
That's
nice.
something I do that. I brought him fig jam the last couple of birthdays.
That'd be nice.
So maybe I'll do that again. Or you can get the T-shirts,
T-shirts?
the Body Farm T-shirts,
The hats?
the real deal, the official Dr. Bill Bass ones. And as we get into the Halloween season, the long sleeve black T-shirt is pretty spiffy, with
It is
the
pretty
orange
nice.
letters.
Yeah.
In fact, the orange and black.
You can also wear them to UT games.
Yeah. Now I don't have the resin skull because those sell out so quickly, but I did grab one of the these little, I don't know what it's made out of, it's like stone or something, these little paperweights where Dr. Bill Bass is signed across the supraorbital ridge. But he'll also, on the resin skulls, there's enough room up there for him to personalize it to you.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Did I get my hair messed up? It's all right. Thank you.
And they're realistic looking skulls. So that'd be great to have for Halloween too.
That would be good.
Is one of those. Go to bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. All right. So you asked about Dollywood.
Yeah, you took the kids up to Big Bear Mountain.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Artie. Now, first of all, they're both tall enough to ride, but when they were here. Last time we took them to Dollywood, it's probably been 3 years now that I think about it. And Artie was just tall enough at that time to ride the Dragon Flyer.
Okay.
So that section, that Wildwood Grove section of Dollywood was brand new, and we brought the boys, and when Artie and I rode the Dragon Flyer, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm like, I can do that again. But Timmy was too small. This year, Timmy is more than tall enough, and Artie is tall enough. So Artie wants to go to Big Bear Mountain, the new one. I said, well, look, we're not going to throw Timmy on that one just yet.
Right.
We're going to put him on the Dragon Flyer. It's a 1 minute ride.
First. Right.
1 minute. You're on and gone, right? Well, Timmy enjoyed it, but was also terrified. He's screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
And when we get off of it, he's like, okay, I've been on a roller coaster.
I'm good.
I'm done for now. But Artie's like, let's go to the next one. Well, you know how sometimes they have these wait times posted. Well, we had gotten on the Dragon Flyer because the wait time was, half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. And the one for Big Bear Mountain was over an hour. By the time we got off Dragon Flyer, the wait time on Big Bear Mountain had dropped to 35 minutes.
That's awesome.
And it felt like less. And I needed more recovery time.
That's why the lines are good. The recovery time is important.
I needed more.
You needed more? Was this the first time on Big Bear Mountain?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the newest roller coaster. And it's really good, but I'm old.
Don't say it.
It's true. When you get older, the liquid in your eustachian tubes starts to gel and solidify, and it screws up
your equilibrium.
And you're not. I mean, when you're young, and you do a roller coaster, you can you recover quickly.
Yeah.
The older you get, the more difficult it is to ride roller coasters. And when I see people older than me, or like the guy Pete from Dollywood, who's about my same age, he's an American coaster enthusiast, and he's always traveling around the world riding new roller coasters. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they can. I used to enjoy a good roller coaster, but now, so I'm on Big Bear Mountain, and I'm gripping, and I'm keeping my eye ahead. I mean, I survived, obviously. It's, But by the time we were off of it, and most of the wait, I should add, we were in the direct sunlight. Because it was a cloudy day, so we get online, and the sun comes out, and now we've been baking in the sun.
Right.
The line moved much quicker than I expected. We're now on the ride in the direct sunlight, and I get off the thing, and I am sweating from everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, not just from the heat, just from the
ride itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, oh no, like that TikTok voice. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Like, am I going to throw up or something?
Right.
I really thought I was. I went into the bathroom multiple times. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I did not throw up, but I thought
good.
I needed to be close just in case.
Right. Yeah.
So we sent the kids into this ball pit and play area that's indoors where there's air conditioning. We go in there, and I don't know if it's Dolly's perfume that they fill the air with, or if they just scent the air in what they think is a pleasant lavender-ish, perfumey smell, just to get to cover up the whatever other stench of humanity.
But it was not helping.
No. No, the artificial smell of whatever that was in the air conditioning did not help me at all. So I go back outside into the heat, and the kids want to ride more roller coasters, and Jerry's not going to take them.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, no, we're going to go. We'll go do something else. We'll go get lunch or something. And we go over to the area where we're going to be seeing a show. My friend Mike Howard is stage managing the Dreamland Drive-In show, which is all 50s and 60s oldies, and
That's
delightful young cast and terrific.
Yeah.
So we're eventually going there, but there's an easy ride the kids can do, and Jerry can go on with them. It's 6 little toy cars you can drive around.
Yeah.
And that's Red's Diner.
Okay.
So we go into Red's Diner, and everybody orders, and I say, I don't want anything. I'm not going to have anything. And I put my head down on the table the whole time that they're eating, and I looked at this. It was one of the best looking cheeseburgers I've ever seen in my life. It looked so delicious.
Yeah, you just
I didn't want
couldn't.
any part of it.
Yeah.
I got my head down. Basically, Grandpa took a nap while they ate lunch.
Yeah.
Well, we had tickets for Mike had arranged for us to have reserved seats,
Nice.
or VIP seats, I guess they're called, in the second row for this 3 p.m. performance. I'm like getting in there, and we get in the air conditioning, and it's dark, and I'm like, okay.
You're starting to recover.
I don't know if I'm going to make it. I think maybe I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And Jerry says, you know what you need? And she goes to the concession stand, and she buys me an enormous soft pretzel.
Perfect.
A salted soft pretzel, and I just eat that. And it was like saltines, but on
Right.
steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so good. It was the best thing I ate that day, that week, that month.
And did it cure you?
It did.
No, good.
It did. And then
good.
plus we had the Happy Little Oldies show.
And you were in the air conditioning.
And then Mike came out to make sure that we were, having a good time.
That's
and
good.
It was fun. Then we get outside, and the kids want to go on rides again. And I was never as happy to hear the announcement coming over the PA system. We're sorry to inform you that due to lightning within 5 miles of Dollywood, all rides are closed until further notice. However, the shows are open, so we went and we watched the Bald Eagle show.
Nice.
And by the time we got some cinnamon bread, and basically spent the rest of the day on Grandpa's feet.
It's like, sorry, there's lightning.
But they were well behaved, so you know where we
That's
stopped
good.
on the way home?
Did you go get some custard? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Andy's frozen custard.
Andy's frozen
good.
custard.
I can't wait for the one. I have to wait. I can hardly wait for the one in Knoxville to open, which I thought was going to be August 30th. Google Maps said opening August 30th, but now they've changed it to September 27th.
Oh, sad day.
Just out of reach.
Yeah, there's a couple of them in Baton Rouge, actually.
Andy's?
Yeah.
Have you been?
I have been. I took James, and he didn't know what he was going to order. He finds it all confusing that there's these concretes.
New for him?
It's new for him,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so he was like, "What is a concrete?" He said, "I just want chocolate chip cookie dough, like in a cone." And I was like, "Okay, let me see what I can do."
That's not what they sell.
That's not what they sell. Right. So I go and I say, "Can I get chocolate chip cookie dough?" But they do have some sort of chocolate chip,
they have
ice cream.
They have cookie dough that you mix in.
Right, with it. Yeah.
And they take the custard and
they
do
mix it.
They mix flavors in, and then they hard freeze it if you want that kind of
Right.
stuff. It's still custard.
Right.
But yes, if you get a concrete, you would get vanilla, and they would add in chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough
and mix it up.
or whatever.
Right.
That's what Artie gets.
So I
It's that.
basically want that, but
Yeah.
in a cone instead of yeah.
So basically the same as my 9-year-old grandson.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ask if I can have this in a cone, and they said, "Oh no, we don't do that. We only do vanilla and chocolate in a cone." And I was like, "Okay."
Could I buy a cone?
Can I get a cone? That was my next question. I said, "Can I get a waffle cone?" And they were like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay, great."
Do they grind it up or mix it in, or they just
They just
stick it
gave
on
me the
top?
cone. So they gave me the cone, just like an empty cone, and I handed that to James. And I said, "Can I get the cookie dough custard?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." And I'm like, "I'll just have it in a cup." And then so I get that, and they have no idea what I'm doing. I order the straw-anna because that's my favorite. It's like the vanilla with the
Strawberries and bananas.
It's so good. And I pay, and I was like, "Oh, can I have also a spoon?" Because they hadn't given me a spoon, and they're like, so they hand me that, and I go sit down, and James is sort of like, "Why can't they do the one I want?" And I just pick up from the cup into the cone, and I'm like, "Here you go." You're welcome.
Now, I'm very thankful that your husband never watches this show, because I'm about to compare him unfavorably to my 5-year-old and 9-year and 7, not the 9-year-old, but the 7-year-old and the 5-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
One of whom had a temper tantrum. I don't think I was even there. I think it was another time. But they ordered they were at some ice cream joint, and I saw the video of this, and they get it comes in. I don't even know how to describe this. I guess they get a dish of ice cream, and this place takes the cone and sticks it upside down on the top.
Okay.
And that's how they serve it, because it's a mess. They don't want, you take it outside, and the kid can do whatever you want with it. But
Sure.
The 5-year-old had a tantrum
because it was upside down.
He had the dish of ice cream and the cone on top. That's not what he wanted. He wanted a cone with the ice cream on top.
Yep. So did you switch it around for him?
I mean, this was upstate New York, so I wasn't there. Thankfully, I saw a video on it on my phone. But
oh, that's funny. Yeah.
But it was good warning, because when they came here, I knew okay.
Exactly. You knew how to tread lightly.
Make sure I'm very careful about how this goes.
But it was funny because the woman behind the counter, she literally, it never connected that she was literally giving me the exact same thing that I had requested to begin with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well, speaking of cookies, I noticed a trend. I went to 2 wedding receptions, one in July and one in August, and they both had cookie bars.
Interesting.
And I don't mean like a 7-layer bar that is a cookie. I meant
like they had
like a buffet of cookies, and in both cases, and they were not, these people don't know each other. One, we're at a down-home family wedding reception from relatives of ours up in Virginia, and they've got barbecue, and it's it's very casual. Everyone's wearing shorts. It's a relaxed thing. And they had cookies, some of which my sister-in-law made by hand, but it's the same kind that you would associate with Christmas baking.
Okay.
So when do you get Christmas? I mean, it's Christmas in July, right? As far as I was concerned. I was so excited about it because they had, the little thumbprint cookies or the little Russian hats where we put the chocolate chip in the middle.
Nice.
And you had chocolate chip cookies and you had ginger snaps.
Nice. Oh my goodness.
The best.
That sounds great.
And I was in love with that. Plus, at this particular wedding reception, they hired a guy from Hershey's Ice Cream, not affiliated with Hershey's Chocolate, to bring his trailer, and it was National Ice Cream Day, and you could go get
ice cream to go with
whatever
it?
you wanted.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was making shakes and sundaes and everything, and it was all included
That
in the
sounds
wedding
awesome.
reception.
Yeah.
It was great. And Hershey's Ice Cream, not affiliated with Hershey's Chocolate, is delicious.
Is it?
Oh, there's a place in Pigeon Forge that sells it. We
Okay.
can go there sometime if you want.
Sounds good.
Make an episode out of it just so we can get free ice cream.
I love it.
So then Jerry and I go to this very fancy, black tie optional wedding reception at Cherokee Country Club.
Very fancy.
It's a Cherokee Country Club. It's
Had your top
beautiful.
hat.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so.
It is nice.
It's such a gorgeous thing, and you go in and the valet parking, and they have for the bar they had pre-mixed 2 types of drinks, cosmopolitans and Manhattans.
Nice.
And they had them just there. You just would take one.
Oh.
Or they could make whatever you wanted. And then they had the cookie bar. And I'm like, my eyes are bulging because I saw a whoopie pie that I wanted, and I saw the little meringue cookies that I wanted, and they had the similar Christmas cookies. And Jerry says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm having
cookies.
cookies." You're not supposed to have cookies. I'm like, it's a buffet
here.
of cookies.
Right.
She's like, and she points to these little rectangular white boxes. I'm like, yeah? She says, go see what's in those. There's nothing in them. They're empty. Yes, you're supposed to put cookies in them and take them home. They're embroidered, or not embroidered, embossed with the logo of the first first letter of their names all intertwined.
I see. So it's like the party favor.
Yeah, you fill your box with these cookies and take it home for later.
So you weren't supposed to do it right when you walked in.
But I wasn't the only one chowing down on cookies.
I mean, it would be a little confusing.
I literally got the last of the little mini whoopie pies.
So.
Yeah. So I was very excited about it, and it was so good. And then we go to, they haven't even opened the main dining room yet. It's a sit-down dinner, with a fancy,
You can have like open cookie buffet and
Yes.
like the doors closed for the regular dinner.
That's what they had.
Of course you're gonna
whereas
eat
the
them.
wedding up in Virginia, it was barbecue buffet, and then they unveiled the cookie bar at the end.
Nice.
Here, the cookie bar is open first, so
Right.
I thought we could have cookies.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And then they open the door, and it's a sit-down dinner, and your plate is on a charger, of course, which is a fancy
sure,
thing.
that's very fancy.
And you have to figure out where your napkin is. You realize it's underneath
it.
the charger. You got to pull that out, and then you get all set and settled.
Yes.
And we found our names. There's a big giant mirror with the name of the bride and groom painted on the mirror, and all the seating chart is on the mirror.
Very nice.
So we find us. Oh, here we are. We're at table 21. How exciting! And see who else is on the list there. And there's this radio name that I recognize because I've listened to this guy. He's a sports announcer. I'm like, he's really good, but I've never met him in real life. It's strange. I mean, I met I know a lot of the music DJs. I don't know a lot of the talk and sports guys. I'm going to get to sit next to this guy. I'm going to ask him about the play-by-play. I'm like, I've got all these. I start basically thinking of all these interview questions in my head.
Right.
Not because I want to interview the guy, because I really want to know.
Right.
Well, we're sitting there, and it's Jerry and me, and we're sitting there. And there's the other, 6 places where it's going to be, he's got at least 3 or 4 of them are this guy and his other similar named people. And then the other 2 also have a sports last name that I thought they maybe either played for Tennessee or I can't remember exactly, but I thought, maybe it's going to be a sports person. Jerry and I are sitting there. They didn't show up.
No?
We were the only two people at our table.
That's really sad.
It was so sad. It was so sad that table 10 looked at us and said, "Why don't you guys
By yourselves, yeah. We'll make room.
We'll see." And so this guy, it turns out he's a doctor, and he lives in I don't know if he lives in Michigan or New York, or he had moved away. These are the out of towners who had moved away from Knoxville, but are still friends with the groom's family. So they said, "Why don't we'll all squeeze over?" So this, huge bear of a man is making himself uncomfortable so that I can slide in next to him.
That's
I
very
know,
nice.
it was so nice.
That's very nice.
And it was a much better table, much closer to the action.
That's awesome.
So I felt,
That's good.
So anyway, it was kind of funny. So sports guy, who probably would never hear this, I wanted to meet you. You should have shown up.
Totally.
Good party.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You missed
Enough
out.
of that.
Yeah.
You have to go.
I do.
All right.
A meeting in 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry about that. Let us quickly, in less than 1 minute, go to audibletrial.com/FrankandFriends where you can get a free 30-day trial of Audible Premium membership, including a free MP3 download. Constantly new things coming out every week. So try out Audible for audiobooks, custom audio entertainment, podcasts, all the works. And also then go to frankandfriendshow.com/store to buy some of our fabulous merch. And most importantly, tell your friends and ask them to please subscribe on the YouTube, much like John and Alex, who I met at the fancy wedding.
That's right.
And I'm counting on you to prove to me somehow that you really did subscribe. Frady,
Leave
thank
us a
you.
comment. Yeah, thanks.
Goodbye.
Great to see you. I'll see you again.
Well, I know, because I've got Becca James and Sarah Roberto lined up for a few episodes
Oh,
too.
that's good.
So
Awesome.
I hope we'll have you
Yeah,
back soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
It is the Frank and Friends Show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And we'll talk to you again next time. Look, I got you out before the meeting.
I'm just going to log in right here, and we'll see because I don't have to.
I'm still recording, so don't.
It's all right. It's okay. Hi, everybody.
We're going to milk this all the way to the end.
That's right. Exactly.
All right.
I have to find it.
There it is. It's exactly the time.
It's exactly the time.
All right, I better stop the tape. Thanks for watching.
Good afternoon.